Alright, here's a clip from the last video. This little engine was supposedly rebuilt, but then the guy never actually got it running or anything and delivered it to my customer not running after a full restoration. It had always leaked oil from this area of the drive unit ever since it came into my shop, and I see they just had it taped up. Took the tape off and I found like the O-ring that's supposed to seal it is sticking out from the cover and oil's running out of it. There you can see it all damaged. Got the cover off, pull the springs out, and then it's time to pull off the drive unit itself. That seal wasn't replaced. Somebody just smeared some RTV on it. All right, time to start tearing this engine down. I already removed the pull start, and inside of here is where all the electronics and the magneto points and everything's housed inside of this unit. Here you can see everything. I got to remove that so I can start tearing this thing down, split the case. I found these little ignition cams are all scarred up and pitted and grooved. I don't know what the heck happened. It's just supposed to have a little piece of felt rubbing on it. See the pitting in it? And then you'll see here, look at that deep groove in that thing. Anyway, got all the electronics out of the way, and it's time to pull the rotor off. That was actually going pretty nice. Came off relatively easy. But then I noticed the damage on the back of it. I'll show you here in a little bit where that came from. A lot of things look weird about this rotor. I'll show you more of that here in a little bit. Yeah, doesn't look good. I started cracking these head bolts loose, and a couple of them felt a little funny, so I wanted to go ahead and take them out all the way by hand so I could feel the threads. This one right here is real stubborn. Wasn't acting right at all. All right, folks, although it looks like some kind of aluminum worms ate into this head, after closer inspection, it looks like once upon a time something gave way and the piston was beating something up against the head, and basically they just smoothed it out with some kind of grinder or something. More on that later. Oh yeah, I'm pointing out here, no head gasket. That's strange. It doesn't take one, but you think it might be better with one, huh? Well, it's supposed to be freshly honed, and the engine hasn't ran yet, so we should see plenty of cross-hatching and no scarring or anything. But it's not looking like that's the case. More on that later as well. Let's get it off here where we can take a better look. Towards the end of the video, I'll show this damage and everything in more detail. Stay tuned. I know a lot of this footage isn't riveting to most of you viewers, but it's primarily for documentation purposes and also a little entertainment. Some people like to see this, but I'm going to continue tearing this down and showing what I find. I discovered a little play in the rod bearing down at the crank, and I'll show a little bit more of that later too. Nice roller bearing there in the piston wrist pin. Impact driver here to keep from stripping out the Phillips heads that hold the case together. So there we are, we got her all broke down. Here's all of our components. We'll take a closer look at some of them like I talked about earlier. This just blows my mind here. Look at this. At first it looks like something ate into the material, but then it's, when you look a little closer, like I mentioned earlier, something was getting beat into the head, and then basically what they did was they kind of just smoothed it out, and you can see on the inside of the head there, right inside the combustion chamber, you can see where they took like a little Dremel or a grinder and was removing the material that was inside of there that would have interfered with the piston. See that? And then now when you look at those other areas, see when I zoom in, you can see where they were smoothing it off with some kind of grinder or something. So there was some major carnage in this motor at one time. It almost looks to me like that rod's bent. That doesn't look like a new piston ring at all. The damage on the backside of the rotor looks like it came from some screws right here that were stuck in too far at one time, but looks like they rectified it. Except for the rotor, that is. And the rotor itself just looks funky, man. See how it's all squished in, and you can see where it's been rubbing on the inside or something. Yeah, I'm just not so sure of this. And this was supposedly sent off to be rebuilt or remagnetized or something. So I don't know, did this damage happen before or after that situation? I don't know, man. People tell you anything, but then when you start looking for yourself, you find out totally different. Definitely something strange going on here. I don't know what's happened to this poor thing. Looks like it's been through hell, doesn't it? Once again, this is for documentation purposes, mainly. I really don't believe the fella told my customer about any of this carnage in here at all. This cylinder is supposed to be freshly honed. It does look like they ran something in there over the scratches, but certainly wasn't done proper. And I don't know, it looks like this rod's a little bent to me. Hard to tell. I'll look into that a little bit more. All right, folks, once again, thanks for following along and watching the video. I discovered quite a bit today, so now it's time to go over the findings with my customer. So be sure to watch the next episode of this saga. Thanks for watching, and peace out.